Hi everyone, thanks for joining this yoga practice to celebrate the snow full moon. February is a time of stillness. Whether or not we want stillness in our busy lives, it has a funny way of forcing us to slow down before the energy shifts into spring. Whether this is the stillness that arrives with the snow, forcing the world to slow down, or for many of us, we get a sickness or a cold, forcing us to take a pause in our lives. I personally think this is an opportunity for us to take a deeper reflection and introspection one final time in the winter season. We'll honor this stillness in our yoga practice with a slower Hatha style in which we hold the postures without the dynamic flow of vinyasa. If you wanted to bring along any crystals for this practice, you could bring along Moonstone, Howlite, green or clear quartz. And if you wanted to bring along any essential oils, you could bring along Frankincense, Clary sage or rosemary. When you're ready, let's begin. Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining for this snow full moon yoga practice. So we're going to start today in a child's pose just to set our intention. You could either come into extended child's pose with the arms out in front, knees wide, or embryo pose with the knees together, arms alongside your body. So today's practice is going to be embodying stillness. That's going to thread through into our postures today. In this slightly more slower paced Hatha style, we're really going to get a chance to sink into the poses, to feel into the poses, instead of focusing too much on the transitions. This enables us to really utilize the stability and the stillness of the postures themselves. So it's not necessarily an easy class because the postures will be held for slightly longer, but instead is more of the energetic purpose of grounding. That natural stillness that would come with the snow moon or the stillness of the February time. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Exhale fully. And then bring yourself forwards to a tabletop position. Inhale into cow pose, lifting the chin, the chest. Exhale into cat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, tabletop. Bring your wrists slightly forward of your shoulders, tuck your toes into downward facing dog. Find movement or find stillness, keeping your gaze steady towards your toes, knees or navel. Feel all 10 knuckles of your hands connect to the earth. Feel that stillness of the body. Stillness of the gaze. Your eyes are steady. As you inhale, look to the space between your hands. Gently walk yourself to a ragdoll to begin with, just to notice the tension through the back line of the body. Shifting the weight into the toes. And you can either stay with your ragdoll or start from a halfway lift position. So bring your hands to your shins, bring your chin and your chest forwards. Shift the weight into the toes and you can stay here, or take your peace fingers towards your big toes, or if you prefer, take your hands to the backs of the calves or the ankles. Keep your head lifted, your gaze slightly forwards towards the front edge of your yoga mat. Or as you exhale, you can fold and turn the gaze off the tip of your nose as your shoulders relax down, your elbows bend slightly back towards your shins or your calves. Now if your legs are all the way straight, you can engage the quadriceps, reaching those sit bones a little bit higher with each inhalation, and letting your torso relax down a little bit deeper with each exhalation. Inhale, head up. Exhale here. Now inhale, hands to the waist with a soft bend through the knees. Come all the way back up to standing. As you exhale, find your mountain pose, either with your feet hips width or your big toes touching and a little bit of space between your heels. Take a breath. Feel the distribution of weight through both feet.
Then when you're ready, inhale, step your right foot to the back of your yoga mat, about 3 feet wide, so not super wide, arms out to a capital T. And then as you exhale, turn your right toes towards the back of the room, left toes dip in about 10 degrees, and then reach those right fingertips towards the back wall. Bring your right hand down to your thigh, shin, ankle, or if there's space, you can even take your right peace fingers towards your big toes. Maybe eventually gaze up towards that top left hand. Shoulders relax, right elbow is slightly soft. And if your legs are a little bit longer, you may want to narrow your stance even more fully to feel balanced here. As we inhale, look down, soft bend through the right knee to come all the way back up. Bring your right toes in. And then as you exhale, turn your left toes towards the front of the room. Reach the left fingertips. Your pelvis presses backwards as you do this. Then bring your left hand down to your thigh, shin, ankle, or again, now this time, your left peace fingers towards your big toes, if that feels natural through your body. As you inhale, look down, soft bend through your left knee, come all the way back up, bring your left toes in. Now we're going to revolve, so turn your right toes to the back of the room, slightly sharper turn with your left foot to bring your foot more towards the front corner of your mat. Now you can bring the hands to the waist if you feel unstable today, or eventually bring your left arm up and over to the outside of the right foot, right arm up towards the ceiling, and turn your gaze up towards that top hand for revolved triangle. As I mentioned, if this is a little bit too much, you can either bring your left hand to a block or even the shin, or alternatively, just keep your hands to the waist as you fold, bringing your gaze down towards your right big toe. As you inhale, look down, soft bend through your right knee, come up, bring your right toes in. As you exhale, left toes towards the front of the room, then rotate, or again, just fold forward with both hands down or hands to the waist. Eventually, right hand to the outside of the left foot, left fingertips up towards the ceiling. Maybe gaze up. Look down, soft bend through your left knee, come all the way back up. If you need a little rest for your legs, this wide position's a bit much, take a rest. Otherwise, heel toe your feet a tiny bit wider. So they're more like 4 or 5 feet wide now, depending on the length of your legs. Arms stay out, or you can give them a rest and then breathe in to bring them back out. Exhale, right toes towards the back of the room. Bend your right knee so your knee tracks over the ankle. Right forearm to thigh, left arm up and alongside your left ear. So you're creating that diagonal line from the outside of the foot all the way to the tips of the fingers. If this feels good, you've been doing this maybe a while, you can actually bring your right hand to the outside of the right foot, gaze up from there. Starting to feel maybe a little bit of heat building, but remembering to embrace that sense of stillness, stability as you press through the outside edge of the left foot. Sink the weight into the right heel, but stay strong through the legs. Inhale, press through the right heel, come all the way back up. Bring your right toes in. As you exhale, left toes towards the front. Bend your left knee. Left forearm to left thigh, palm open. Right arm up. It's almost like you're trying to lift your chest up towards the ceiling. If you can maintain that lift as you bring your left hand down, feel free to bring it to the outside of the left foot. Press through the inner edge and the outer edge of the left foot. Don't let your knee buckle in towards the big toe. Inhale, press through the left heel. Come all the way back up. Again, if you need a little rest, take one. Otherwise, as you exhale, bring the hands to the waist. Breathe in, nice tall spine, shoulders relax, elbows relax. And then as we exhale, fold forwards. Now you can either keep the hands to the waist or rest the hands to the floor, shoulder width apart in line with your feet. Breathe in, see if you can shift the weight into the toes as you bring your chin and your chest forwards. And then as you breathe out, maybe you start to fold a little bit deeper, relaxing the head down, keeping the elbows soft, shoulders soft, away from your ears. Even here, shifting the weight more into the toes to the point where your heels feel light on the floor, but they still maintain contact with the earth. Breathe deep into the sensation. Notice the tension in the hamstrings, the inner thighs. If you're noticing excessive tension on the outside of the ankles, then just narrow your stance a little bit. Inhale, head up, look forwards. Exhale here. Then inhale, hands to the waist, soft bend through the knees as once again you come all the way back up to standing. And as you exhale, you're just going to step your right foot to meet your left, back to mountain pose at the front of your yoga mat. Take a breath in through the nose. Exhale fully. Find stillness. We're going to move into tree pose. So keep your left leg nice and strong as you rotate through your right hip. Right heel to the left ankle, toes to the floor. Maybe sole of the foot to the calf. If you're going any deeper, then close off the knee joint to bring the sole of the foot towards the inner thigh. Your foot may or may not stay there on its own, so you can come into half prayer, full prayer, shoulders relaxed down, elbows wide. Remember, we're holding for a little bit longer today, so feel the support, the structure of the pose. Press the sole of the right foot into the standing leg. Press the standing leg back into the sole of the foot. Find this synergy, this energy drawing up from the inner arch of the left foot all the way through the inner thigh, through the central line of the body, all the way through to the crown of the head. Embody that stillness. Gaze is steady. One fixed point that doesn't move. Breathing in. Breathing out. As we inhale, bring the right knee through center, and then as we exhale, gently release back to mountain pose. We prepare on the other side, so you can bring your hands to your hips to prevent the whole hip from shimmying round. Left heel to left ankle, sole of the left foot to the left calf, or sole of the foot, towards the inner right thigh. You can keep your left hand here for support, half prayer, or full prayer, shoulders relax. And it's okay if one side feels a bit different than the other, but do your best to find a similar pattern of movement so we can feel that stability through the same part in the body. We feel that integral line. Doesn't matter if you fall out. That's kind of the point. We want to feel stillness in states of unbalance. Shoulders are soft. Breathing is soft. But your gaze is steady. Inhale if you can, left knee through center first, and then exhale to release. From here, you're going to heel toe your feet so they're slightly wider than your hips, toes just pointing out. Bring your thumbs towards your sternum. Inhale. As you exhale, start by bending the knees, bring the weight into the heels. Now you may only come down a few inches, this is great. Otherwise you can continue to sink down, maybe even sit on a block. Maybe your heels lift off the floor, in which case you can bring the hands to the floor, or eventually thumbs to sternum for Garland pose. Press evenly through the inner and outer edges of your feet. Don't let your knees buckle in and collapse. Keep pressing through the pinky toe sides of the feet. Shoulders are soft, thumbs to sternum. Find stillness. We're going to make our way to seated. So you can bring your hands forward or behind you, just enough that you can place your sit bones on the floor. Extend your legs out in front with your toes and heels together. We're going to start with the hands to the outside of the hips. This is called staff pose or dandasana. Flexing gently through the toes, find a little engagement through the fronts of the thighs, and do your best to keep your spine tall. If you're noticing a lot of tension in your hamstrings, even here, you're finding your lower back is rounding a little bit, you can always tent your fingers behind you or even bring your palms flat and lift your chest, your chin, or you can sit up on a pillow. If you're feeling good here, you think you can take it a little bit deeper, then you can take your hands to your thighs, shins, or peace fingers towards your big toes. Start with your inhale, bringing your chin, your chest forward, like you're trying to peek over a wall. And either stay with that, or as you exhale, you can start to fold. Try to keep your gaze forwards towards your toes or towards your ankles. Shoulders are soft though. And if this feels good even here, you can actually start to take your hands to the sides of the feet, or if you've got really long arms, around your wrist, and place that over the tops of the feet. But make sure that doesn't crunch through the shoulders, okay? You want to keep your shoulders nice and soft. And as we just take another breath or two here, maybe you want to relax your chin slightly closer to your shin, embodying the stillness. As we inhale, gently come all the way back up with a flat back, and we're going to make our way down onto our backs. So bend the knees, lower down onto your back. And from here, we're going to come into a gentle spinal twist. So hug both knees into the chest, give them a little squeeze, make sure the spine is nice and long. And then we're just going to lower the knees over towards the right side. You may want to press the pelvis slightly to the left as you do that. Arms to a cactus position or capital T. Maybe turn your gaze towards the right hand. Inhale through center. Maybe press your hips over towards the right. Lower your knees over to the left. Gaze towards the right side. Slow breathing. Inhale through center. Give your knees a little squeeze and then relax into Shavasana, the ultimate posture for stillness. Closing off your eyes. Arms are heavy, legs are heavy. So often we feel shame or resistance about slowing down. We almost want to pretend that it's not happening. We often try to grit our teeth and get through the winter season and hope for the best. But this slowing down, if not listened to, will make itself known. Whether that's through burnout or making ourselves sick, catching a cold, or the literal snow from the world outside, keeping you in and safe in your home, preventing all external events. The universe has a way of making us find stillness. And instead of gritting your teeth and bearing it, rushing it or wishing for it to pass, we should embrace these moments of stillness. This can be one of the greatest challenges, especially if you're unwell and you're being essentially forced to relax. But that doesn't mean we can't embody the benefits of the lesson, to find stillness, to listen to ourselves. How often do we get this much time to tune in? How often do we get this much time to feel? And even if in your case, maybe you've only got these 30 or so minutes to slow down, Perhaps for yourself, this is more of a sign that you need to make more time for stillness. I encourage you to stay resting in stillness for perhaps even longer than you ordinarily would. If you can, finish this with a meditation. If you are going through a phase of being unwell, sick, or you feel a bit trapped, stuck, I really wish and I hope for you to be able to embody this sense of stillness, this last little moment in the winter season before boundless energy finds its way back to us. So let's embody this stillness for a bit longer while we can. Thank you all so much for joining me today. As we go forward, wishing you peace in your thoughts, your words, and your heart. Namaste.